Jeannette J.R. Robinson has led one hell of a colorful life. Starting off as something of a feral child, living in Jamaica, Queens, New York, then heading to Michigan to live with her grandmother where, as a talented athlete, she started to excel in running, even training for and having Olympic aspirations. And then as a teen, having to go into care as a ward of the state after her grandmother's passing. Then, a debilitating accident of which the knock-on effects wouldn't be felt for decades, but would ultimately leave her officially, quote-unquote, disabled. JR has been living in London for over 25 years and has been pursuing a career in the arts since attending Goldsmiths University, very prestigious by the way. She has been dealing with her disability now for several years and is in the final phase of completing a full-length play dedicated to the topic, which she intends to be produced here in London in 2025. So look out for that. This episode, Jay and I are super thrilled to be speaking to my friend, the actor, writer, producer, director, voice artist, and all-round powerhouse of talent and personality, JR, on the Offstage Acting Podcast. Oh, and P.S., you'll have to excuse Jay as he is feeling a bit poorly in this one, and he doesn't look or talk himself. But at least it keeps him quiet, for the most part, and that can't be a bad thing. Oh, stop picking on Jay already, will you? And the Offstage Acting Podcast is ready. Ready to jump in.
Jumping right in.
With all things acting on the Offstage Acting Podcast. Welcome back, everybody.
Yes, welcome.
We got an exciting episode for you today.
Super.
It's going to be incredible.
Yes.
Content warning. We
Oh.
will be cursing on this episode,
Oh.
I believe.
Okay.
Our guest today is, I think, impossible to rein in on any level. So,
That's so very exciting.
yeah.
Does that
So
mean
there's no way. The quacks would be never. It would be one big quack.
it would be just one giant quack?
Instead of beeping, we quack. So it'd be just
Wow.
you would think it was just three ducks talking. Jay, before we get into all that, I am looking at a.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're looking at a.
What am I looking at?
You're looking at a giant cyst right now
I
on,
was gonna
on
say
my upper lip.
your head
And
looks like one big blister.
yeah. And this eye, there was like 6 to 8 styes, and also under the eyelid there
Oh,
that are now currently healing. And imagine this, but they're all also inside my nose, so it's totally blocked, and I can't breathe through my nose or smell.
okay.
So
Is that why you're
yes,
talking like this today?
yeah. Well, I guess so. Okay,
You got a big job coming up tomorrow too, don't you?
I do. I have 3 days of recording in a row.
In
3
studio?
full days as like a main character
Yeah.
in studio with other people.
Right.
Oh,
I guess your character is just going to have to. He's
gonna
this guy.
have to.
He's this guy.
He's gonna have to. He's not as nasal as that, okay? But like, fine.
It's pretty
No,
nasal.
it's pretty nasal, but you know what? He's a sassy guy, and he goes through
Right.
life sassily.
Okay.
And you know what? I think nasal and sass
Oh, are you
can
playing?
fit.
Yeah, well, for sure. Are you doing camp? Is
So
it sort of camp? Your guy?
it's not. It's whatever this is. It's
Okay.
sassy can be campy, but I'm not like, hello everyone. I'm so happy to see you.
That's too bad because you do that really well.
Thank you.
And you're feeling all right. I know you had a rough weekend, but
Yes, yeah, because all that happened also with a sinus infection. So
wow.
it was actually the plague. No,
It's the
but
plague, yeah.
internally I'm on day 4 of antibiotics.
Okay.
So like
So the virus is gone. You just
the
look like hell.
bacteria is in theory
Is it bacteria or viral?
it was bacterial. It was bacterial.
Eek.
Yeah, gross. I feel better. I don't have like fevers, headache, and like pain everywhere
Right.
in my face.
Okay.
But like there's still persisting symptoms. So that's how I'm feeling.
So
Thank you for
you
asking.
sure your face doesn't hurt?
Oh, I mean my nose just is like
Right.
it just feels like it's
Your face hurts
it's not pain, it's
because
just
it's
like blocked.
killing me.
Okay. Really, just okay.
All
Anyway,
right. That's
fine.
it.
How are
Come on.
you, Todd?
No, I'm
How
fabulous.
are you?
Fabulous. Couldn't be better. Offstage
you.
Acting is now on IMDb,
Oh.
the Internet Movie Database. Yeah. So now if you
wow.
really want to get information about the podcast, you can find us on IMDb. I'm really happy about that. It looks great, and all of our guests are on there, and it's proper. It's starting to look like a
Wow.
proper thing. I know.
That's
As
as
opposed to
if it
just
didn't before.
just a
Yes,
bunch of
exactly.
kids in their garage putting on a show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, in trench coats and on top of each other's shoulders to look like they're adults. Yeah.
Right, like the Little Rascals. Okay. Oh, might have a package coming during this. We'll see.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, that'll be fun. All right, I want to kind of jump in
All right.
because we have an extra special guest.
Ooh.
All of our guests have been special, but this
Yes.
one's extra special. All three of us have something in common.
We swear a lot.
Yes. We're Vulgarians.
Vulgarians.
That's right.
I've not heard that one. That's good.
That's a real word, by the way.
Vulgarian.
A Vulgarian, yeah.
That's good. How
He's
have
a
I not heard that?
Vulgarian. Yeah, it's a real thing.
Good.
It's not, I didn't
Thank
just
you.
make it. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. No, we all have the same agent, apart from being Bulgarians. We all have the same voice
it.
agent, right?
Got it.
So that's interesting too. But this lovely young lady, her name is Jeannette Robinson, but we call her JR
Love it.
for short. Yeah. And she's a wild child. I'm going to be honest with you. She's a wild child.
I kind of need that right now.
Yeah, we all need a little. I love her. She's the kind that, if her and I get on the phone, we'll end up talking for hours, even though we are both trying to get off the phone. Okay, well, I'll let you go, and then we say one more thing, and then, all right, I'll finish that, and then I'll let you go, and then I got to get going. Yeah, me too, I got to get going. And we can't, it's not like I can't get her off the phone or she can't get me off we can't get off the phone. We can't stop, because that's the banter, blah, 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 blah. So much going on. She's a wealth of information in it and all this stuff anyway. And exciting. I'm gonna let her tell you her story.
Okay.
She doesn't actually have a show reel per se.
But please
because
tell me
her whole thing is she's mostly theater. Okay.
Oh.
She mostly and theater directing even. But she's moved in, and I'm not even sure about how that happened, and we're going to find out how she got into voice.
Huh.
But I thought for a bit of fun, why don't we listen to a little bit of her voice work?
Okay.
Yeah? So this is Jeannette Robinson. Let's check it out. I got a few here. I could flip over to her profile if we wanted.
To look at it while we're listening.
Yeah, I don't know if it matters, but if you're watching on YouTube, so there's.
Love it.
Then, but also you can pick commercial, narration, corporate, audiobook. What do you want to hear first?
Why? What is corporate? What does that mean?
Why doesn't that? Wait a minute. Something's broken on this thing.
Is it not going?
No, I don't know if you can. Andy's gonna have to help us with this. My button's broken, Andy.
Or
let's see.
The shadow man from behind the scenes is helping. Is it not? Does shadow man behind the scenes also have problems with button?
For our history. 4,000 years ago, a group of migrant workers were led here by a man riding...
That sounds fresh and kind of fun.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Andy's helping me out. Now, if I hit that button, Andy, is that all right to turn that on and off?
Yeah, turn it on and off. Yeah.
You're focused, and you're looking for one place where you can get things done. Introducing the new UPS My Choice for Business. A clear dashboard will be your starting point to discover and connect applications that best suit your business. On desktop, tablet, and mobile. Get a high-level summary of your services on a customized UPS homepage.
Chapter 1.
There was a cold November wind blowing through 116th Street. It rattled the tops of garbage cans, sucked window shades out through the top of open windows, and set them flat. At Stanley Security, trust is central to all we do. It's why you can trust us to help you achieve your vision. protecting the
Okay.
significant, essential, and meaningful, helping the world progress. We're committed to your success because we know that you're the people driving the world forward, serving communities, shaping tomorrow, driving the decisions that matter, that brighten our environment.
It's like I bring a tear to my eye.
Very good.
It's very emotional. Very good. SJR, should we bring her on?
Yes.
Let's meet her. Here she comes. Yay! There she is, JR. Look at you.
Lovely voice.
How you feeling, darling?
Very warm.
Is that from the what you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
I know you were nervous.
Yeah, man. I'm boiling, and I have a very.
Are these hot
couldn't
flashes?
believe myself. Yeah, stop. No, I have a very insulated lounge.
Oh,
It's
good.
very insulated.
Well,
yeah.
It's still winter here, despite the fact that it's mid-July.
I don't believe
We had
England's
about
weather
3
reports.
days of.
I love it here. I've been here a long time, but the weather reports are like
No, you
the
can't.
obituaries for clothes. Like, honestly, like, oh, I've got these new leather pants.
Right.
25 degrees and sunny. Never
Right.
gonna happen.
No.
And then you're like, oh yeah, I've got all these great what are they called here? Jumpers.
Yeah.
Right.
And then or
Sweaters,
indeed
right.
you're like, yes, time for the summer dresses. Bring them all down from the loft. And it's snowing.
Oh no, I'm still in my winter.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like
still all completely in
yeah.
my winter
Yeah, no.
garb. Yeah.
I just like Carol on the BBC. I just like looking at her new outfits. I
Who's
don't
that? The
listen to
weather?
what
Is
she-
that the weather?
Yeah,
lady?
she's the weather woman. I
Okay.
don't listen to a word she's saying. I'm just like,
Ooh,
that is a lovely
does she have good
dress.
fashion sense?
Well
Carol?
done. Yes, whoever's
bit of-
dressing her is doing an amazing job.
You are a bit of a fashionista yourself, aren't you?
I'm addicted to,
Yourself.
no, God,
Looking
no.
fabulous. Addicted to
No,
looking
no.
fabulous. What do you
That's
think?
no. I was always listen. The first job I ever had out of college, over the table, meaning getting a paycheck.
Right.
Yeah. Legally.
I had loads of jobs under the table.
Right.
But my first professional job was
That
for
the
a
government
marketing
knew about.
company.
Oh.
This is when I still lived in Chicago, and there was this guy. I can't do really Chicago right now. The Bears, the Bulls, whatever. Anyway, so
Chicago.
he was like 3 feet tall, and I'm not joking. 4'9". I mean, it wasn't there. He was neither
Short.
Yeah.
a little person or a very tall guy. He was just and his attitude reflected it. So every wall in his office was a poster, hang in there with the little kitty, and
Right,
then
right.
achieve your dreams.
Today is the first day of the rest
yeah,
of your
yeah,
life.
yeah. Everything. Yeah, exactly. He was what is it called? Like the daily affirmation thing.
Yeah, affirmation guy. Yeah.
And then one day I had a meeting with him in his office, and he said, Jeanette, you got to dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Wow.
And I had never heard that before because I was like 21.
Were you dressed
And,
like a homeless person?
No, I didn't. I just wore, I looked like I looked like a secretary, like in the movie
Right.
Secretary, nice A-line skirts and blouses, up to the neck, and
I see.
very,
Right.
very nice phone voice. Good
Right.
morning.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to et cetera,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah.
How can I take you?
And
Yeah.
how can I help you?
How can I help you?
And so I started doing that. And I bought a suit, my first suit. And then I just started,
Okay.
So I think
you are more
when
in
I walk
tune
into a
with-
job, I never want to look like I just came from the gym or
Right.
I've just woken up.
You are in tune with how the fashion makes the statement of.
Well, I assume that. Listen, what's the first thing the first thing they see is you when you walk in, and the
Yeah.
next thing is they hear you.
Right.
So
Right.
I
That's true.
want, when I leave my house, I have this thing. I'm
Physical and audible.
Yeah. My partner, me, and my
Impressions.
daughter. Yeah, I said when we decided to have a family, I said, I want to be like the biracial Brady Bunch.
Right. But only three of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also, I want us to leave the house and represent our home, so we're all good.
Huh.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. That's
Like,
important.
button. If my partners have to do some sewing, but missing buttons. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to just throw stuff
Oh,
like
I
that
see. Right.
out,
Right.
and now I'm like, no, I'm gonna.
Fix it up.
It's 15 years now we've been together. I can sew a button back on his shirt and not
Yeah.
throw it
Right. It's time to
away.
be okay. A little more domestic.
So yeah, that's always, and the crystals and stuff. It's just, it makes me happy, and it's a girly girl thing that I've always enjoyed. So
Oh, Jay likes crystals. That's not.
no, like, no, I don't rub them. I wear them.
Jay's
Oh, I
got a
wear them.
crystal on right now. What's your crystal?
I wear them.
That's your
It's
Do you
Colombian,
called
wear them as well?
mango quartz. Yeah, I
the
do.
mango
I don't
quartz.
think they're super
Nice.
girly girl. I think they're cool, but it's cool.
No. I mean, yes, they can be anything, but
Anything. Yeah.
yeah.
I
Oh, that's on my computer
Let's
screen.
talk about JR's life.
Oh
Can we just
no,
now
I was into the crystals.
we've broken the ice. Well,
Mhm.
nobody wants to hear about Jay's mango quartz anymore. We did a whole episode on his mango quartz.
did we really? Oh yeah, that's right. The entire
Practically,
hour
I don't. It's,
That's
Oh
right.
dear.
Anyway,
yeah, that was episode whatever.
Mm.
moving forward.
So JR, where are you from originally? Tell the folks.
Born in Memphis, Tennessee,
And then moved to.
Oh,
and then moved to Jamaica, Queens, New York.
Yeah.
Oh,
How old
cool.
were you when you moved?
Old enough to cuss.
So 3.
4.
Right. Okay. Like speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Do you
my
have
mom was
memories
the
of
jazz
Memphis?
pianist.
Yeah. Do
No.
you have any? No memories. Yeah.
New York, yes.
Yeah. All
Big time.
New York. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your mother was a jazz pianist. Yeah.
Yes.
Was she working in the
Jazz and
clubs and
blues.
stuff? Like
Yes.
Harlem, down in Harlem.
Yes.
Wow.
that's dope.
What was
It was dope. You know what's great is music was a thing. Like the
Mm.
first
Yes.
album I ever heard, I think, was The Doors, Crystal Ship. She
Okay.
always made sure that we had a knowledge of every genre of music. She
Mhm.
never played. She learned classical music
Huh.
and then went from that into jazz and blues, because that's a special style of the piano, jazz and
Yeah.
blues.
Sure.
And there was always music playing, whether it was Rick James.
Yeah.
We
So we're
always knew
talking
we were
kind of this is
don't
70s.
mess with don't mess with mom
Yeah.
when
The
Rick
brick
James
house
is playing.
right?
Yeah.
The brick house is playing. Oh.
No, bit of Super Freak,
All right.
a bit of that. But anyway, and
She's super freaky.
I love that song.
Yeah.
But she played everything for us. So
Musical
my brother and
household.
I have a huge we're very eccentric musically.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
I
good.
write and play piano.
Eclectic.
Yeah.
Eclectic. And you
So I
play
write and
piano.
play-
as well.
yes.
That's
Do you
cool.
play piano?
No, I took lessons for a long time.
Yeah, the
and
lessons
never
are
bothered to.
are crap. You might as well just watch a YouTube video, honestly.
Yeah.
If you just sit at it, it's got something to offer you.
Yeah.
Just
Start
all you
messing
got to
around.
do is put your hands down,
Yeah.
put your fingers down, and let your
Are you
fingers do
good?
the.
Let your fingers do
I
the playing.
yeah, right. I don't play chopsticks or any of that stuff. I play stuff I like.
Yeah. Okay.
I tried to turn that Blur, what's it called? Was it Carousel? The
Yeah.
song
The
Blur?
musical? Oh, yeah.
Blur, the band, into a
Blur.
jazz piece.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Okay.
I'm still working on that. That's been 7 years going.
One of your many little projects.
That one's so far on the back burner, man. It's already been taken to the tip.
So, 4 years old, growing up in Jamaica, Queens. Was that rough?
Mm-hmm.
70s in Jamaica, Queens? Sounds a bit
70s.
rough. 80s.
Yeah. But for some reason I have a big brother.
Mm-hmm.
So he looked after me. He made sure no one,
But I mean,
got
in
a
general,
hold-
the
got a hold
neighborhoods
of
are
me.
rough. I mean, what is it? This is the
Jamaica
80s in
Queens
Jamaica,
is
Queens.
like, it's good for its own. I mean, oh God, I'm gonna get into really tricky territory here. You grow up in a black community, a very strong black community like
Yeah.
that, and we were good. We were poor, super
Yeah.
poor,
Yeah.
but
I don't know. There's something about when all the people are poor, it's all right. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
You're not
right,
getting
right.
like
It's not as
you're not
noticeable.
getting jealous. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
you're all poor. If
yeah.
you're living in this building, you're all poor.
Right,
There's
right.
better places to live than here and buildings without roaches.
Yeah,
So if you're here, probably you have rent arrears, maybe.
right.
You need welfare,
So, but did you
possibly.
have a good kind of childhood growing up? I mean,
No,
was it interesting then?
no.
No,
It was
no.
incredibly interesting. I always describe my childhood as a Salvador Dali painting. You know, the one
Oh,
where
Just
there's the cat being
all
thrown
right.
in the air and there's a
It's
phone
like a mess.
and there's him screaming.
But it
Like
sort of makes
it's
yeah.
sense if you look at if you
just
take it all in, it makes sense. But individually, the bits are
it's just
messy.
like, what is that?
Yeah,
Wait, why is the clock melting?
that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
my brother would probably say the same thing. Like
Yeah.
he the greatest thing about having a child is that I know she has one bed.
Right.
She's not in and out of hotels. She's
Right.
not
Right.
driving from Florida to California overnight. That's not what's happening here. We
Yeah,
have a
because I
summer
know you.
holiday once a year.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like
Stability.
stability.
Yeah, she got
It's
stability.
it's what I try to achieve in
Yeah.
my but that childhood, everything about it, I still in therapy, whatever. I love my therapist and talking about my childhood, but I've been asked, I was really jealous of people with really good childhoods, people whose parents are
Right.
still together and all that stuff. Never met my dad.
Right.
And I remember wishing, oh, I wish I could have, you know, had the white picket fence and the two parents and all that thing. And then you have to think about how having a history like that shapes you as a person.
Mm,
And actually, I wouldn't change a thing. Even the worst of the worst, I think has built, um, it's not confidence, because I think that's something you sort of have to fake it before you make it, but more so a life lived. It's nice, textured. I have a
mm.
really full, colorful history, and I wouldn't change it because I wouldn't want to be. Well, I don't want to talk about anyone specifically, but there's a couple of people that I saw walk past. I'm like, I wouldn't want to be you.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah. It's
Boring.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes yeah, no, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't
So
change it.
because you had a lot of you had that time of stability, and so you saw that, but you also had a lot of instability, so you understood
Yes.
that.
When we were with my mother, it was instability, but amazing sleeping in green rooms and she's playing for BB King and all
Yeah.
that.
Right.
But the stability was through my grandmother. And we lived with our grandmother. That was, Catholic grade school, uniforms, nicely
Right.
pressed, ironed, as we say.
Hot meal
In the
waiting for you when you
States,
got home. Yeah.
hot meal. She had a maid,
Right.
a pool.
Right.
Um, we both all had our own rooms, and
Right. Yeah, that must have been a big change.
it's so strange living in a one-bedroom studio flat in Jamaica, Queens, and then moving to Michigan with my grandmother, and then having a garden,
Yeah.
Huh.
beautiful pine trees.
Yeah.
I'll always have amazing, spectacular memories of my grandmother, but also introducing boundaries and rules,
Right.
Mm.
which I learned how to defy
Right.
pretty much until my 30s.
Right. Well, you grew up pretty feral, I guess, as a
I,
kid.
you know, I,
So,
I wouldn't disagree. I
right.
wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But it's what you do with it. Are you the feral cat that goes and attacks people and everyone's trying to shoot it with a dart because it's like, oh my god,
Yeah. Yeah.
that cat in the video where the guy's trying to like
Right.
Yes.
give it away for adoption and it attacks him.
Yeah.
Are you the feral cat
Are you gonna
and
be that, or are you gonna be
or are
the
you
one that
gonna
settles in
get
somewhere?
get docile at some point,
Right.
assimilate,
Yeah.
and that's what
How
I
old
did.
were you when you got docile, you think? I know you're still kind of working on it, probably, but 35, 40,
When I met him. So
15
we've been
years
together
ago.
15 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would say in my late 20s.
Huh.
You trying to fudge your age on me?
No, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out the math without giving my age away.
That's what
And
I'm
that's
saying.
also for privacy stuff. Some people,
Fair enough. 15
I'm not
years. Let's put it
scared.
that way. That's
Nah,
right.
nah, nah, nah. The years pass and I've learned
I
so
think it
much.
helps people though
I'm not
because I
scared of my
also,
age.
I had a mixed childhood as well, and
Mm.
I remember those years up into kind of my 30s where it got to the point where I finally was like, "Ooh, is this me? Is it gonna define me from now on? Like, how much more of this do I need to be doing before I finally just go, you know what, get over it a little bit, you know what I mean,
Huh.
and take accountability and stop blaming and blah 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 blah, all the stuff I was doing. So there's
What do
something
you
to it.
mean? What do you mean? Like in a sense where
Oh well, I felt sorry
having
for
had a
myself a lot.
colorful childhood, like, because
Yeah.
I don't take responsibility for stuff that,
No,
in my
that's
childhood for things that,
negative thing that happened,
adults,
but my
smoking
behavior in my
cigarettes
30s.
around a
No,
little
no, no, no. But I mean,
9-year-old,
my behavior in my 30s, let's say, up and even
Oh,
into my
yeah.
30s, where I am now projecting the kind of behaviors that I witnessed and experienced, and being part of the problem and not part of the solution.
Oh, so that was 36.
Okay.
When I was
Okay.
36,
Right. Okay.
enough was enough. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Where I actually had to, yeah. I enjoy being a citizen of the world now.
Yes. 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 How old
Not
were you when you moved to Britain? Or what?
It was the beginning of the Gulf War.
Oh, yeah, that's about the same. So that's 25 years
Do you
ago.
love? That's all I remember
Yeah.
was that I was in I can't say company names, can I?
You can
So
say.
I was working
Doesn't
at this
matter.
big ad agency, the one that like Mad Men is based on, yeah.
Yeah.
I was working for this absolute shark woman. I
Hmm.
mean, on this huge account, and anyone in advertising will go, "Oh," and it was
Right.
huge.
Okay.
And
Big corporate
that we had
client.
a break room, awesome break room. It's one of those companies where it looked nice, there was a
Gotcha.
bar there.
Free
It was so
stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were all in the break room, and George W. Bush, George
Yeah.
Bush Jr. was elected.
Yeah.
And
George W. Bush.
you could still smoke in buildings back then.
Yeah.
Just to give you a little idea of what it was like.
Yeah. Late 90s.
Yeah. And then I looked at the TV. I looked at the woman standing next to me, and I said, "I'm going. I'm out of here.
Right.
I can't. I'm
He was
Did you-
elected,
wait,
and you
just-
bet.
And I got I already had my passport. I applied to 5 schools, Goldsmiths being one of them. I was already out in the working world in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But
Doing well.
the glass ceiling is much lower for Black women, especially in the 90s. It was.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the acting stuff and why I ended
It was
up at
mostly
an
on the- I
advertising
think it was on
job,
the- it was on
which
the
was a
ground.
temp job anyway, because I was, playing crackheads and prostitutes in theater and film in Chicago,
Right.
and then going to work in an office where basically I was treated as I was paid.
Yeah. You
which
mean
was
lower
not
or
very
higher?
well. Not very well.
Right.
No.
The glass ceiling was lower or higher?
What's the glass ceiling? Isn't that the thing you want? You want to break
Yeah,
through
that's super high then.
Yeah,
Meaning
no,
you
it
can't
was
get,
low.
You can't low, so
No,
it's
no,
easy to
yeah,
break through if it's
no,
low.
yeah.
Meaning, like,
So
potential to get higher. Yeah.
there was no potential to get higher.
So that's
Yeah.
high. The
Period.
glass ceiling was high, not low. High.
I don't know. I'm not great with.
If you want to
my own
break through the glass
analogies.
ceiling, then you want it to be low. Then it's
I
easier.
think I'm with you, JR.
But
No.
you understand what I'm saying. So
Audiences,
let's
please.
call it screw the glass
tr-
stairs or the ceiling. Let's call it the ladder, the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
You
harder
want to
to climb.
move from exec assistant to, perhaps you want to be one of the producers on one of the accounts, and
Mhm.
be with the store, the art board team, for getting pitches ready. Maybe you
Mhm.
want to do that. If you were a Black American in the 90s,
Mhm.
I
That was-
don't know
You're not
how
gonna
much
move
of a
up that
possibility.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being like the only person in my family with a bachelor,
University education.
Bachelor of Arts and Masters of
Mhm.
Arts, it's a real shame. So when I left England, I left it happily. I mean, I stored some
America.
of my stuff in my
When you left
adopted
America.
family's basement and got on a plane. George Bush, bye.
Can I just tell you, I did the same thing
Did
at
you?
the same time.
Because it was one of those elections. It was way before Trump, so we were
The
shocked.
hanging Chad.
Yeah, the hanging Chad.
The hanging
Florida.
Chad. And I looked at
what
that.
are you doing,
right?
Florida?
And I said, oh, they stole the election.
Exactly.
And I went, I can't live in this country
Not letting
anymore.
people
Not
vote.
just that. Oh, there was a whole
yeah.
thing. They stole the election, and then they started a war.
Exactly.
And just before I left about 3 days before he swore and took the oath.
Mm-hmm.
I left just before January 3rd when he was sworn into office. So I never lived under a George Bush. And that summer was 9/11.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a mess.
And I was in Paris during 9/11.
I was in Prague.
Wow. Yeah.
And I never looked back. It's
crazy when you leave, and that's a huge thing. From where I come from.
Yeah.
That is a huge thing,
Yeah.
not just to move from Chicago to New York or vice versa,
LA
to leave the country. Like everyone was like in tears laughing.
Yeah.
They did not take me seriously.
Sure. Where the hell's she going? And it's only a matter of time before she comes back.
And then I threw a going away party and everyone's still going, you're going to be here
You'll be
next
back
weekend.
In 6 months. It's
exactly.
Stupid,
And I'm like, no, man, I'm not going there for the,
So funny.
But I've been here ever since. So 27, almost 28 years, I think.
Right.
That's in London, England.
And same thing for me. 25 years I've lived in Europe.
Wow.
You went to Goldsmiths.
Yes.
How'd you get in? Who'd you bribe?
Oh, stop it. Do you not think I'm a good student?
No, I just it's a good school.
Thank you.
You did well getting in.
And I did well when I was there.
I bet you did. No, I know you're. No, I'm not. I'm only teasing. I know you're clever.
I know he's teasing me, but I'm not going to let him take I'm really proud of my achievements. Those.
So you did well in high school.
It's not about bragging about it. It's about.
So that's straight out of Michigan, though. You went to the Catholic school, and you went to high school.
Catholic grade school.
Yeah.
Our grandmother had paid for that before she passed away. Then we were given a choice. I grew up in Care.
Yeah.
After that. So I was given a choice to continue with Catholic school or go to public school. And it was after, do you guys do sports day here in England?
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of the equivalent.
With my daughter.
Yeah. There's an equivalent in the States for like middle school, right?
Right.
So I had won this race it was like the race, boys, girls, everyone.
Yeah.
From one end to the other of this sort of part of the playing field.
Half 100 meters or something like that.
Yeah, it was whatever it was. And I ran so fast that I won the race before people were halfway through.
Right.
So someone caught wind of me, also found out I was in foster care.
Right.
And said, she'd do really well at this high school. Right.
Like a track program.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I was
shuttled off to
another foster home.
Right.
With a pretty strict African foster mother, and ran my butt off. Won a lot of medals in the junior Olympics, and then competed fully. Trained at 80 miles. I used to run 80 miles a week. And I was training for the 2000 Olympics.
Where are you now?
So sponsored by Adidas at 18.
No kidding. Look at that.
At the university. Yeah. I mean, I didn't.
Is that how you got into?
They were not going to get me into endorsements. So what happened was my dream was always to be an orthodontist. Always.
Okay. Every
I don't know
dream.
why. I was fascinated with
twists and turns.
I know.
Fascinated with it. Absolutely fascinated with dentistry and orthodontistry. And, I used to see all these rich kids because, as you well know, as poor kids, we don't get no braces.
You got messed up teeth. Yeah.
The closest you'll ever get to getting your teeth fixed as a poor kid is getting punched in them. Do you know what I mean?
Somebody knocks a tooth out for you.
Yeah, we don't see braces.
Right.
So I had all these dreams of opening up clinics for poor kids to get their teeth straightened and stuff.
That's cool.
And so my first year of university at the one school I chose for my BA, the first
Right.
year, I failed physics. I could not stop failing it. And it's an
Is
absolute,
that
it's one of the
required?
base
Oh,
requirements for any medical sort of degree. You
sure, sure.
must, physics is a must.
Right.
Huh.
So, and I don't know why my brain didn't work that way.
I'm
So they
not good
had
with that stuff either.
I remember sitting across from the guidance counselor, and they were like, "So it's not looking like
You're not going to be an
this is
orthodontist.
gonna happen for you. So is there anything else you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to take psychology of sex and theater."
Okay.
That's what
Beautiful.
I did. Took
Wow.
psychology of psych 101, psychology of sex, and
Why
theater
was it?
classes,
Can I
and
just
then
ask?
that was it.
I
I
just
got
want
the
to,
bug.
just going to stop you there.
Hmm
Why psychology of particularly sex? Were you just fascinated?
You do Psych 101 and then you can branch out.
Right.
And psychology of sex was fascinating. If you pick up any psychology of sex
Well, sex is
book,
always fascinating. So
sex is
more
fascinating.
more than orthodontics, I would
But
think.
the psychology around fetishes and,
Right.
you know, reasons why some of us aren't wired.
Sexual proclivities. Yeah.
Exactly. And how we're all wired differently in that
Yeah.
way was just my jam. I didn't want to
Okay.
be a therapist, like a sex therapist, because I think, yuck.
Right.
Did
I don't want to hear all those gross
I don't want to
stories.
see your I don't want to see your failing marriage. Just take
Right.
it that way.
Unravel before me.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And it's not going to get fixed in bed. Well, maybe it could, but I don't want to do that.
Can I just tell
was
you that I
more
took
fascinated with disorders. So
Okay.
things
Oh,
that
right,
people didn't want
right. Right, I see.
wrong
Oh,
with
yeah.
them,
Yeah, I got
and
you.
wanting to
Yeah.
change their thinking around, like, for instance, how you perceive your beauty,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
how you perceive yourself
Yeah.
psychologically,
And your
to be able to be in
sexuality and your
a mature adult
attractions.
relationship. Yeah, it's really,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I
But
took a I took a drama. I took a writing course, like a script writing course, and I pitched in front of the whole class. I think I was about 19. And I go, I've got a story I'm going to write about sexual relationships and sexuality, and I'm going to really delve deep into the topic. And I pitched, and my teacher was like, really like, wow, and the whole class was like, okay. And it was kind of brave of me to stand up at that age in front of my university and say, and it's gonna be about a couple, and I'm gonna have like these multiple couples in there, and they're all gonna talk about. And I sat down to write it, and I realized I don't know jack shit about any of this stuff. Who the hell? Like, I had barely had any sexual, and I said, okay, I'm done with that. So I came up with something else, and they're like, what happened to that script about sexuality? I go, I don't know anything about sexuality. I wrote something about The Simpsons, something else. Anyway,
We're all wired a little differently. It is a fascinating topic.
it is, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
when you see women who actually work in that field, or men who work in that field, and how
Mm.
they talk really serious, I actually think it's quite funny now. Like,
Sex workers,
so
pornography stars, and
tell
like
me
that. Yeah.
about your repeated, chlamydia infections. How do you feel about that?
Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
can't. No, I'm happy doing I would rather not do that now that I think
Yeah, I
about
think
it.
you made the fair choice. Okay, so but we want to focus anyway on the theater.
We're never gonna focus, man.
So you were running, but at what point so you went to Goldsmiths and kept running?
No, I went
What happened to the Olympics?
No. Listen, so I went to that university, couldn't
You can
pass
name it.
physics, and when you're on a full ride scholarship for athletics,
Yeah.
certain things are agreed and arranged. One is that all of your books
Right.
and all of your
Accommodation,
is paid
food,
for,
yeah.
everything. It's called a full ride
Full ride
for a
scholarship you
reason. A
had.
full
Yeah.
ride scholarship. It was a athletic scholarship I got
Right.
for a few universities in America. And my track coach, it came out that he was in a relationship with someone on the team,
Oh, right.
and his wife was the coach of the men's team.
Right.
So it became a real mess, and I'm not a
God.
messy girl. I think people make judgments that, I can't think of a better situation to swerve then like a weird love triangle within our team. And then
Yeah.
he was using the money because he said, "Oh, I can't pay for your books this semester." And I was like, "You're supposed to pay for my books every semester."
What are you talking about?
And yeah, he was paying for the girls' nails, buying her gifts and
Taking
stuff, like
money out of the
misappropriating
coffers.
funds.
Wow.
Like it was such a scandal. And I just was like, no, I'm not doing this. So I transferred to Columbia College in Chicago,
Okay.
which is where I got because I thought I want to act, after the next semester I stopped all the science
Right.
classes except psych
Right.
and just did performance classes. And then when I went to Chicago, of course, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
You're in between Steppenwolf, sorry. Oh, I can say fucking, excellent. The Steppenwolf, Goodman Theater, and all the professors that taught me were working actors who you'd see on Seinfeld and Saturday Night Live. It was
Yeah.
so awesome. The opportunities being just so
Yeah, the
amazing.
improv was popping off. There was tons of theater
Marty
going on.
DeMott trained
Yeah.
me, and he's, Sheldon Patinkin was one of my professors.
Right.
It was literally one of the best schools on earth to get trained as an actor.
Yeah.
And I come out bursting with all this. I'm a trained actor.
Yeah.
I'm a triple threat, even, the singing, the dancing, and all that. And then I
Yeah.
come out and I go to audition after audition after audition, and I keep on getting cast as crackheads.
Right.
And I had never
Prostitutes.
tried crack, never. And I was like, why? And, they were like, the crack head makeup basically is them just covering you
Yeah.
in chalk,
Yeah.
covering a
Like
black person's
white
face, just making
lips
it look
and
really dry.
chalky
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
dry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chappy and just,
Yeah.
not the glamorous bit.
No,
I know
no.
Holly Berry could pull
Prostitutes
off.
though too. I mean, you were crackhead prostitute /
I was everything except,
except with a modern
black women were
sophisticated
not
woman.
at the time. There was no. So I think I remember watching how Stella got her groove back with
Yeah.
and thinking, oh wow,
Tina
a
Turner.
lead. Yeah, and then Holly Berry getting an Oscar. And I was
Halle
like, is that
Berry,
because
yeah.
she got her tatas out and cried,
Possibly.
rolling on top of that ugly old man? It was
Yeah.
I was just like dreaming. I was dreaming.
Okay,
It
so
was,
let's
and it was
isolate
never
some
going to
of this.
happen. And I was told that as well.
I just
You'll
wanna
never be an
isolate the-
ingenue.
Oh, were you told that?
I was told that in one of my theater classes. You will
Why?
never
Because you're
be
black?
an
Is that
ingenue.
why they said that?
No, maybe it's because
You're
I
hard.
had that sort of
I mean,
harder edge.
you knew you weren't going to be an ingenue anyway. An
And
ingenue is
don't
like
nobody want to be no ingenue yelling
Right.
off no balcony going, help me,
Exactly.
help me. Yeah, no,
you got to
screw
be
all that.
petite and delicate like a daisy. You
Blonde,
ain't that. Well,
all that.
you could be brunette, but you got to be.
Mm.
Betty Boop is like an ingenue. You ain't no Betty Boop. But let me isolate some of this because the transition to me is interesting.
Mhm.
You're running. You want to get into orthodontics. You're doing physics. It all kind of falls apart. Whatever university. I see you're reluctant to say the university, by the way, which is fine.
It's because the guy got into big fucking trouble.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's his
Yeah,
problem.
Yeah, I got into big trouble.
Or the university. So, but at what point were you saying like that you want to get into acting? I mean, I
At
know
the
that's
university.
well, but before that, there must have been some
There was always, I used to attend youth groups.
impulse. Okay.
Yeah, I used to attend youth groups that used to have like little sketches for Christmas. I was
So you're doing a bit in school and when you were younger.
bit in school, was always interested in
You
it.
liked it.
Really, really shy, painfully shy.
Yeah.
Had the worst stage fright of
Right.
anyone you'd ever met in your life. And then I'd see my mother, the way she played piano just without abandon, that,
Yeah. Free.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Free. And I was
definitely.
like, that'll never be me. I'll always be scared of the
Wow,
audience
okay.
watching. I'll always be scared of them judging. I'll
Mhm.
always be frightened of, that. And then I got cast in a black play, all black cast when I transferred to Goldsmiths in Chicago.
Mhm.
I worked with Chuck Smith. I think at the time, he was the head of the Goodman Theater, but he really latched on to me and helped guide some of the decisions I ended up making that changed my life forever.
Okay.
And one of the things that I got that acting bug bad. And I had amazing professors who I would see on TV in the evening. So, do you know what I mean? You're filled like this school's going to be
TV
good and
where?
I'm going to be famous. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is going to happen,
Where?
right?
Where on TV? What do you mean on TV?
Um, Seinfeld,
Oh, I
SNL,
see. I see
Mad
what you mean. Oh,
TV.
so your teachers were already
Yep, yep,
working
yep. They're
actors.
all,
Yeah.
yep. And I had every confidence that that was going to be where it landed for me,
Mm.
you know? Um,
And
and
that's at the same time you're going to university. You're also taking outside courses
no,
and
this
stuff.
is, Columbia
Graduation.
College Chicago
Right.
is a art school.
Right. Okay.
So dance, theater,
Oh,
etc.
okay. And those
So I
teachers
had,
working there. I got it.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's after I left the university, I'm not going to say,
Right.
for my freshman year of college,
Right.
transferred those credits to Columbia College Chicago,
Right.
and then went off to get my Bachelor of Arts in theater, but with a major in
Emphasis on
arts
directing.
performance and a minor in dance, modern dance.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Huh.
Nice.
So knew all the Martha Graham stuff, did all the, I
Right.
really was. I stepped out as a triple threat. You really get confident. If you own
Mhm.
tap shoes, you
Right.
get confident. Do you
Right.
know what I mean? If you can, I'd like to
Well,
make
I
a
own
reservation
tango
for
shoes, but I
4.
don't go. Right.
What?
I own tango shoes, but I'm not confident in tango.
Nice.
But
I still have my ballroom dancing shoes.
do you?
Yes,
They
I
fit?
do. Yes, they do. But yeah,
So how many years are you kind of in Chicago?
10.
Okay, that's a good long stretch. And I know.
And that was long enough to realize I wasn't going to get, when you have to pay your
Mm,
rent, because don't
yeah.
forget, I'm still
Yeah, yeah.
poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to work to live.
So
My
you're kind of
rent.
you're getting this impression that you're being trained right, everybody else is doing well,
Yep.
you're in the right place at the right time. You couldn't
People
be
are
doing
landing jobs. People are moving to
landing
LA.
right.
I'm in
Right.
Chicago,
Success is
stagnant,
everywhere.
just doing theater and then
and you're
being really
thinking
typecast.
and you're just being typecast and you're thinking, and we're talking about mid 90s,
Late 90s.
90s, and yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, times were definitely much different.
Yep.
And so opportunities weren't coming your way.
Nope. I mean, they were in the form of these jobs.
Yeah, but not stuff. Again,
Like,
that
for instance,
ladder,
I
that
auditioned.
ceiling.
Yeah. You know
was-
how like MTV used to have
Yeah,
like
the
a host.
VJ. Yeah.
Yeah, VJ.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for one of those gigs.
Sure.
Lost it to a dude who's a really good friend of mine who I
Right.
went to theater school with.
Right.
And
Wow.
I kept on asking them, what did it come down to at the end? And he was like, he's just going to be more of the
Masculine.
audiences, basically just, yeah, exactly. He's because he's a white guy, just
Yeah.
fucking say it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Audiences are going to identify with this guy more.
It's so frustrating.
Wow.
And then I tried to whiten up, so to speak, with my twang, because obviously, and I hate to say it that way, but that's how I felt about it at the time. I thought maybe it's because, so I, you know what I mean? Let me
Definitely. No,
really code
I remember
switch. I'm going to totally code switch so that I can fit into this world and figure out what I'm about.
Right.
And I was like, and then I had it right before I graduated from Columbia College. I had a meeting with Chuck Smith. I'll never forget it, in his office. And he said, stop waiting for the work, create your own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started writing and directing.
Right.
So that's when I worked for a couple of years, and then I made my application. As soon as George W. Bush was like in the running, I was like, ah,
right.
Write out those applications, get out of here, toot sweet. And then I got accepted at Goldsmiths.
Okay.
And a bunch of other ones, but apparently Goldsmiths don't forget, I'm still living in the States, so I don't know how good all these schools are.
Yeah.
And then someone said, oh, Goldsmiths is a really good school. And I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
But the writing, now I know you talk about the writing for Second City.
Yes,
but I didn't
wrote for Second City Upstairs. I would never ever pretend to have been lucky enough to have been downstairs, and I could say really evocative things, which I'm not going to say about Second City downstairs. They have had lots of women and women of color down there, so just not me.
Okay. Well, I see. Hard feelings there?
Nope.
No.
Best
It's a-
experience of my life. Someone
No, I
stole
mean
one of my jokes. Someone stole one
Oh,
of my best jokes.
okay.
So,
So when you say
I'm not going to
writing, though, because
badmouth
it's
them.
improv. So what do you mean writing?
Well, it's improv with a skeleton to it.
Okay. So there was
sketch comedy.
sketch
Sketch
and-
comedy has to
yes,
be
sketch
yeah.
and improv.
Yeah.
What made you get into the sketch comedy? I mean, I know you're funny, but
because Marty DeMott took a shine to me, and
Uh-huh.
I took his course, and he basically he fought for me
okay,
and said she's really funny,
right.
and he just got me in there.
I mean, I
It was
was
amazing.
with the Groundlings for years, and I really loved my time there. Just being in an improv environment, improv theater, and
It was
working
so fun at the time where improv was like new and refreshing, and just looking at all the greats. Like for me, Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy, Red Fox,
Mhm.
going way back. But then Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, just loving those comedians. But then wanting to put it in scenes, Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy's outrageous journey with Saturday Night Live,
Yeah,
and just from the racist stuff to the modern stuff before he left. And I loved what's his name with the crazy hair, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory guy.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Gene Wilder.
Gene
Thank you.
Wilder, very good.
Gene Wilder and his wife that passed. I have a book.
Rita.
I have a book of the greatest comedians ever,
Yeah.
and I studied it like a Bible.
Okay.
So I used to buy dirty joke books.
Right.
I used to do Mad Libs. Do you remember Mad Libs?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And try to make them as filthy as
Gilda
possible.
Radner. Sorry. Gilda Radner.
Literally, and Gilda Radner, that was it. And I was just obsessed with the with the more bluer comedy,
Okay.
and the stuff that made people go, ooh, you're like, you can't say that, you can't do that.
I
And I'm
do
like,
like
that's
those, too.
exactly where I want to
That's what I
go.
want.
That's
I like it.
exactly
What was the
wanna-
joke they stole? Tell us the joke.
Uh,
I know you
it
remember.
was a bad first date. It was a sketch on a bad first date. He didn't just steal the joke. He said
The
he
whole
wrote
concept.
the scene. Yeah. And you know what I hate more is that I didn't say anything.
Oh.
I didn't stick up for myself.
Wow. Yeah.
And he ended up being on a huge show. In fact, I can't even fast forward enough because they took him on for so many seasons of the show. I can't even watch the show anymore.
Right.
Because every time I see his face, I'm like,
What's the show?
thief!
Right.
J'accuse!
What's the show?
And I can't say that either
Why?
because it's a show everyone will know.
But it doesn't matter. You're not saying the person.
Listen, I'm saying that's how you get good in the business. I realized
Steal.
in the business, steal jokes, elbow people in the face, do all that. And I was like, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what Chuck Smith said. I'm going to create my own work, and I'm going to further my education.
Right.
Because I really did want to go back to school. I always wanted to go back to school.
Right.
Columbia College Chicago was probably the first school where I listened in class. I took extra classes. I
Right.
graduated a semester early because I took so many classes.
Okay.
I sucked it up like a
Yeah.
It was like for the first time I wasn't in a classroom where, I was born in the 70s. So, where they're putting you in the dunce corner.
Oh yeah, I
getting
spent
hit
more
with a
time
ruler
sitting
or a
outside of
paddle.
my
You know what I'm
class than I
saying?
sat sitting in.
In college,
Absolutely.
my fierceness was celebrated. And I wasn't contrary either. I was very inquisitive, so thirsty for knowledge.
Yeah.
And then, and Chuck loved that,
That's
and
great.
he really helped me harness that. And he encouraged me. Him and another professor, Terry, can't forget his surname, said, "Go
Yeah, I
back to
remember.
school."
Right.
And I ended up applying for all the schools and getting in Goldsmiths. And then I lied. The reason why I keep on saying when I came to England during the Gulf War, I lied and said I was Canadian.
Really? You just put that down?
I moved over when I moved to England 26
Yeah.
years ago or 27 years ago. I said I was from Vancouver.
You just put that
I've
down?
never been to Vancouver.
Wow.
I don't
Okay.
even know
Why
what
did-
it
why
looks
did you do
like.
that? Just because you thought
Because
they would
there
take
was
you?
like rallies against Americans
Oh, that's
on the
true.
streets of
That's
London.
true. Oh my God.
And I
yes,
was
of
like,
course.
no. I want to have the Bridget Jones experience. So
Right.
to do that, I'm gonna have to be
Oh my
Canadian
God,
and not
yeah.
American. So I
Can I
spent
just tell you
yeah,
quickly
of course.
my experience? I traveled to Europe in the mid 90s, before all that,
Mm,
right? And I remember going through every border, and I would just pull out my passport and flash that gold eagle, and they wouldn't even open the passport, JR,
same.
right? They would
Didn't
just go,
even open it.
they just go, oh yeah, you through, and then they would stop everybody else. And I felt like I've got the golden ticket. Speaking of Charlie and
Wow.
Chocolate Bar, and it was just Americans were like, we were gods, and I got to
Yeah,
have some of that experience.
the
Boom,
ones with
George.
passports.
Well, yeah. If you traveled, I mean, if you
Yeah.
traveled, you went to Italy, you went to Eastern Europe, particularly anywhere, and they were just like, "You are American, oh!" And the questions, and they idolized you, they worship you, and they still remembered World War II, and you saved us, and they'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, don't worry, we're back. You're welcome." 9/11, George
Yeah.
W. Bush, Iraq War. Next thing you know, yeah, you're wearing the Canadian maple leaf, and you're
Yep.
going, "I am from Quebec," and you don't want
You know,
anybody.
yeah. However, like, oh,
Nobody,
I'm
and they would just,
Canadian bacon, oi. Like
and
I
they'd be
didn't even know the
all
accent.
over you, and I
Yeah,
got stopped and harassed at every, and they would, oh, you think you're so, and I mean, and I
like
go,
literally,
it
we
was
looked.
awful.
Everyone thought every American was
Yeah,
George Bush
yeah,
Jr.
yeah.
So yeah,
Taking people to Guantanamo Bay and
any
waterboarding
exotic
them.
accent I
It's
could
like,
put on, I did
yeah,
in a new
totally.
friendship group until I could get to know them
Yeah.
properly and be like, yeah,
Okay, so you
I'm,
come to England. You're Canadian.
yep.
You go to Goldsmiths. What, 4 years?
It was the
What,
master's
masters?
program, so it was
3,
2.
2. Okay,
Yeah,
and you get the masters in.
theater directing.
Nice. There you
Oh.
go. So you
Yeah.
come out a director, right?
Yes.
Were you directing a lot of stuff and
I got
in
my
and out?
arts council funding, my
Wow.
first show out,
Right.
and didn't realize I would never see it again for many
Right. You
years.
thought, oh, this is
I
easy.
wouldn't see arts council funding for many a year after that.
What was kind of your first project?
It was a autobiographical piece about the beginning of the end of a marriage,
Okay.
and
Had you been married before?
I was married to the lead actor
Oh, okay.
at the time.
And you were going through a divorce with him?
The divorce proceedings were not long after
All
the
right. Hence the
production.
autobiographical. Okay. I got it. Was it any
I
good?
think that was life imitating art, imitating life.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Because
Theater does that.
I want to give my ex-husband credit. He's a really funny dude.
Yeah. Is he
But
British?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the father of my child is my he's my dear.
Soulmate.
He was my dear diary man. Dear diary,
When you're 12
please
years
give
old, and
me
you're
a
like,
man
the
who's really
perfect.
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And apart from reminding him every single Tuesday night to take the bins out to the curb, he is in every other way very perfect. I love France. I speak je parle français.
Oui, ça va.
J'adore mon homme. Yeah.
So your partner's French, so let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
French.
he's
And
cool
not
guy.
Canadian French.
No,
France,
proper.
French.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't say that. Oh, I love it. I knew it was gonna get you, Todd.
He's a proper
I knew I was
Frenchman.
gonna
That's all I
get
was going
you.
to say. What? I can't say
Yeah,
that?
because ask
different
them.
Okay, maybe. If I apologize profusely to all the French
Je suis
people.
désolé,
Oh,
messieurs,
yeah.
mesdames.
And he's cool. He does editing, and he's really incredible.
He is
sort of,
an
like,
animator.
animation, and yeah,
He
Oh,
rocks the
cool.
house
Yeah.
with animation.
he does incredible sort of like. So also creative and things.
Oh,
Now-
big time. And we met in the visual effects industry.
Right.
Huh.
So, yeah.
So your
theater,
first time,
very quickly to make money in film.
Yeah.
Not acting,
no,
film production.
yeah, you can't make money in acting.
No.
But so your first husband, is that why you're able to stay? Is that when you got citizenship?
I
and this kind of
forgot.
stuff?
I had I actually did. I married for love.
No, I know, but I mean,
But I didn't realize you could fall out of love when you were married. I genuinely didn't.
especially once you get that citizenship.
No.
No,
I
I'm just
didn't
kidding.
know. We were together 7 years, and then someone said to me, "Did you get your British passport?" I didn't
Right.
get my British passport. I was married many years ago. My partner and I have been together 15 years, and I only got my citizenship when I was pregnant with my
Oh,
daughter.
wow. Okay.
Huh.
So the June, but she was born in August. In that June, I'm
Mm.
signing the thing with the flag and everything, and I did my
Yeah.
oath to the Queen at the
Yes.
time
Yes.
in 2018.
Right.
So I
Okay.
completely the only thing I kick myself for is that it was 10 times the price,
Right.
to
Yeah.
Oh
get your
By
British.
then.
I
God.
waited so long that
Yeah.
it was so much more money to get
Right.
one, and as soon as, like, people started talking about Brexit and I was
Yeah.
pregnant, I was like,
Yeah.
I went into defense mode, and I'm like, "I need to protect all of those around me. Let me
Right.
get my passport and be British."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I am in passport, but, I'm still American at
Well,
heart.
always. Yeah, I guess always. But I think I got mine the same time, or roughly.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Swear the oath to the Queen and all the stuff. My
Yeah,
kids are
I
over 10.
enjoyed the oath. I like the ceremonial stuff over here. I mean, this is my home,
Yeah.
England.
Yeah. 25 years.
But I love the ceremonial stuff here. I love the churches here. I love the cemeteries. I love how old England is. It
Hmm.
completely blew my mind that things existed like around Jesus days and stuff. Like that's so cool because I always thought the world revolved around America and sort of
Yeah. This
the
building's
gangs of New
almost 80
York.
years old. Yeah.
I thought watching Gangs of New York was like a history lesson.
This is how it
And
used to be.
so
Yeah.
I educated myself like someone, my ex-boyfriend, when I first moved over here, I was dating someone who was, lived in Wimbledon and took me
Hmm.
to all these fancy things and showed me
Yeah.
all these fancy places and took me
Sunday
to,
roast.
yeah, Sunday roasts and
Mm.
introduced me. Yeah. And I didn't realize gravy could be so thin. And then, so I make my own now. And anyway, so yeah, but he took me everywhere to like the places with the stone walls, and he'd say things like,
Mm.
"These were built in like 11
Yeah, the Romans
whatever,"
built this or
and
something
I'm
like. The
like,
Romans were here.
"Dude, how's it still
Yeah.
there?"
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Of
Yeah, in
course.
the countryside, we got these places, the thatched roofs and all that stuff. You go,
Yeah,
wow, that's a
yes, I love those thatched
400-year-old
houses, and
house. You're like, wow.
so
Yeah,
cool.
there's the history is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when does JR go from, let's say, she graduates, she gets her directing stuff, she's doing theater, and I know you've done a ton of stuff in town
Mhm.
up until a point, and then but how'd you get into voice? When did that come about?
I was working for I'm gonna say this without getting into trouble. Okay. So I was working for the
You
UK Film Council, which no longer exists.
right,
And I had to answer the phone for like 7 people.
right,
Like, good morning, UK Film Council. Jeanette speaking. How can I help?
right.
And
Very good, very good.
thank you. And there
I'm
used to be
convinced.
there was a person who used to call for my boss, and that person, every time he called me, he was like, "Oh,
Right.
your voice. Oh." I mean, it was
Mm.
literally like, dude.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like, "I
too
have to
much.
meet you." I'm like,
Oh.
"Dude, what?" And I've been complimented on my voice before, but in Chicago, I remember, having the same phone voice and a
Right.
client coming to pick up some flyers that I had printed for his event because it was a marketing company, and him going, "Oh, where's Jeanette?" And I went, "I'm Jeanette." And he
Right.
went, "You don't sound black." And I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh,
Wow.
I
You
guess
look
my
black,
I
but you
guess
don't
the
sound
code
black.
switching is working." Okay, yeah, man.
I
Whereas
pictured
in
you. Yeah.
whereas
Oh my God.
here, it was like, I don't. I've never done phone sex. I had an old roommate who did it in Chicago, but I was just like,
You say
I
that
got
as
so
if.
fed up of him saying it that I said, "If you like my voice so much, why don't you like get me a job with it?"
Right. Okay.
And he ended up introducing me to the woman who was
Phone
doing
sex
the
operator.
no,
Oh.
the woman who was doing ads on telly,
Yeah.
She introduced me to the studio she got hers done at.
Okay.
I got my, fake, the spiel
Yeah, the
reel,
fake show
the
reel.
fake reel
Yeah,
before you
yeah,
get real work.
yeah.
And I sent it out to 100 agencies on CD.
Wow.
Wow.
100.
Actually, and
Were there
and I
that
had
many?
a label printed and
Yeah.
everything of my headshot over
Yeah,
and then
I
I'd
remember
poke the
this.
hole.
Boys.
I
I was
remember
making
this.
my boyfriend poke the hole through so
Right.
he
The
could
sticker that you had to
the
put the
sticker in the
sticker on the
middle.
thing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
threw the thing off balance anyway, so it wouldn't play
exactly.
right. Yeah, yeah.
And put them in the boxes with the
Yeah.
label and
Send it.
everything,
Oh,
and
I
I
did
mailed them
that. I
out.
did
It was
that. That's
hundreds of
funny.
pounds in postage fees,
Yeah.
and I sent them out, and then I got I've saved all of them, all the rejection letters. They're the best things in the world. I love
Oh,
a
yeah.
good rejection.
Yeah.
Some
Especially the
people in
Brits do it
England
very well. Oh,
they write it so good.
so yeah, they really do.
Like, we
Really?
loved this. It's that, shit sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we love this, we love that. Unfortunately, but please do, keep
Keep in
your eye out in
touch.
future. Keep in touch.
Yeah. We would be, yeah. We're open.
And then two agents called me back and said, "We want you." One is my other agent, and the other is the
Right.
agency I share with you guys.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and
Which
I've
is
been with
called
them
Voice
ever
Squad.
since.
We can say the name, by the way.
Oh
Voice
yeah,
Squad.
okay,
We
good.
don't
Shout
get in
out to
trouble.
Voice Squad.
Voice Squad.
So
What?
yeah,
What's up,
yeah,
Neil?
yeah. So 15 years now.
Mm,
I've been in
with the
voiceover
squad. Nice.
with
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Okay,
yeah.
so that just sort of kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not doing well.
I
and
thought it
it's-
was a joke.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah,
thought he would hook
that's
me up with anyone
right.
other
Right.
than maybe. Yeah, no, I
Phone
wasn't
sex line.
confident. I thought, yeah, it was, but actually, I ended up thanking him years later.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because it's my, it's.
Yeah.
I
It's been
love that no matter what happens to me, as long as I have my voice, I
Right.
have a platform.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. I feel that way.
Speaking of which, can we talk about what happened to you? Now, because here's the deal. You were a runner, you were a dancer, you were very athletic. I
Very
never knew
athletic.
you before in those days. And then
No,
but it was recently. Was it 3-4 years ago?
no, the car accident.
Yeah.
No, the car accident was when I was 17. So
Oh, that was 17.
when I was 17 years old. So I
Oh,
had just been emancipated from foster care,
Right.
and
yeah, of
I lived
course.
in my own apartment by myself, which makes you the coolest high school student on earth, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
To have your own apartment senior year, just imagine. And yeah, I got rear-ended at some guy was trying to run the light and I didn't. And he hit me at about 60 miles an hour in the back.
Wow.
And he crushed my entire the boot of
What?
my car was gone and it was
Right.
into the back seats. And then I never got checked out, never went to the doctor because I was emancipated. Being emancipated from foster care basically means you're on your own.
You're an adult.
You get like
The court
you get
says,
subsidized. Yep,
yeah.
they give you some funds and they're like, okay, now make it work. Since if you don't like the foster homes and it looks like you're pretty responsible and you can do this on your own,
Right.
here's some money. Now
The judge is essentially your parent at that point. isn't it?
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that was 17. Now in Michigan,
In Michigan.
Detroit,
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo. Wow.
Kalamazoo.
And you got slammed.
I got slammed.
Why did I think that was recent?
And I never
where my head
sued.
is at, but
Never
sued.
Never. I didn't even know what that meant.
Oh, my
Everyone's like, "Ooh, Americans, they sue everybody." I'm like, I literally,
Whoops.
yeah, I didn't
Oh
do
my
that until
God.
literally last year was my first time I've ever sued anyone.
Right. Oh, we'll talk about that. But so
Oh no. Well, when you're in the middle of a lawsuit, you can't
Still
talk
open.
about too much, but
yeah,
yeah.
okay. Well, I'm just interested. But so that's what took you out of running and dancing and stuff, to be clear.
No. I was a
No?
Zumba teacher. Nope. I ran still as for exercise. I became a aerobics instructor. Remember I was 17, so then I went off to college at Columbia
Yeah.
College. No. I ran the first year
You
of
were doing it.
college.
So why am I getting
Second-
confused though? When did the surgeries start to happen and things?
I had a really hot chiropractor in Chicago.
Nice.
The first time I ever blocked,
always
when
helps.
you lock your neck, like I
Yeah.
woke up, I couldn't move.
Right.
Called
God.
a friend who said, "Go to this chiropractor, he'll sort you out." And he just did that
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it felt better. So I
Okay.
went on with my life. And then that started to happen more and more frequently.
Hmm.
And
Right.
that started to all of a sudden stop working, stop helping.
The cracking of the neck didn't
So
work
then
anymore.
I started getting MRIs,
Yeah.
and they started seeing things and telling me things.
So you
But
were
I
just living
never,
with
yeah.
this.
So I had
Okay.
injections 10 years before 2021, approximately 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The epidural injections that they sort of put in to help plump up the discs and help
Yeah.
with pain. And I
Right.
had that done, and I thought I was cured. And
Okay.
then over lockdown, the rest is history. I had an MRI because I kept on getting tingling.
Right.
And then they said, yeah, you're in trouble if you don't have surgery. That actually made me really nervous.
And that's
I'm going to turn my
that's
fan on.
it's like 20 years later, 25, 22, 23
Wow.
years later. That's insane.
I mean, I'm not someone who obviously I don't ignore self-care, but I think there's an element of
Just live with it.
that
You don't even
that
realize that it's a
exactly,
problem.
but
Your body
especially here in
adjusts.
England,
Yeah.
I'm influenced highly by my environment. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
In America, I would have been to a doctor, and I did complain about it, and I did tell doctors about it. And I was told 10 years ago I needed surgery, and they said, no, 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 you can do injections. You don't have to do surgery. I had
Right.
private insurance. Um, and I didn't think anything more about it. I did not know that this would be a life-altering event. Not at all, not one bit, until the MRI I had October 2020, and the surgery I had,
Recently.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the phone call was February 2021. The surgery was May 2021.
So,
ACDF surgery, for those who are curious.
which means what?
Anterior cervical discectomy,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
fusion.
Right.
Ah.
So whatever Band-Aid.
Everyone always makes that sound like.
Well, it sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's
too many
no
syllables.
fun.
Too many
It's the
syllables.
discectomy part.
Yeah,
Discectomy.
no, it's like
Discectomy.
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 Yeah.
Right. Where
It's
they
the kind of words as a
remove a
voiceover
disc.
artist. You're like, no, I keep making that mistake.
Yeah.
Discectomy. Yeah.
It's like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
So
Do you have
whatever quick fix or whatever fixes they were putting on it, they just deteriorated eventually. It was no longer going to plump up, and it
That
wasn't going
chiropractor, he might as well have been laying on of hands at a
Right.
Baptist
Right,
church
right.
service.
Putting leeches on you.
If there was, let's put
Healed.
some petals
Take
on
the
her
devil
and
out of the back.
burn some sage. Yeah.
Right.
Really?
Satan,
it-
come out of those discs.
Yeah.
Um,
It was surgery or
Right.
There was still a risk of the wheelchair. So
and
I mean,
because you walk with a cane now, you're officially
it's a
disabled.
walking stick. It's also my pimp
You
wand.
pimp walk, yeah. I mean,
My pimp wand.
Pimp wand.
Yeah.
Sorry, does it have an 8-ball on the top, or was it a dragon's
No,
head?
man. But I'm gonna get one with a fish tank.
I forgot. Of what?
A fish tank. I got
Fish
someone with some
tank.
crystals.
Right.
Like a fish
I
tank at the
love
top
that.
with a little fish. Like,
Yep.
Like a
yo,
real
what's up,
fish
buddy?
inside, like a living.
No,
Yes.
like a fake Nemo, but it's all pimped out with like glitter lashes going.
Oh, I can't
"What?"
wait to see this. Right?
Yeah.
Well, if you got to, pimp it out. If you get a mobility scooter, I know it'll be jacked up with the hydraulics. And
Pimp my ride.
Pimp my mobility scooter.
Pimp my mobility scooter. Oh,
I
my
mean, in a
gosh.
sense, it's enviable because you can park anywhere you want.
I mean, people say that. And actually, you know what's funny is
Drive
I
into
was
town.
talking to my very, very good friend before this
Yeah.
podcast. The first
Okay.
thing I thought to myself was, oh no, it's like a proper podcast.
Right.
I watched all the episodes.
Yeah, it's not
And
just
then the
Todd
second thing,
messing around with his
and then
mobile
I was
phone.
like, no, Todd is, you literally
I
Dude,
penetrate. Yeah.
you totally are
You
penetrative.
told me that. Yeah, you said you
You're
penetrate, and
so
I don't want to be penetrated.
penetrative.
I don't want to be
And
penetrated.
I said I don't want to be penetrated.
I'm
Like
not trying to go. I want to go
I like
surface.
I like
Okay.
nice surface chat, like, hi. Ooh, I love the
Pleasant.
duck ponds in Hampstead Heath, whatever.
It's random.
But let's talk about let's talk about disabilities.
Here, okay. You
But
know why?
here's the
'Cause-
thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Todd.
Tell me.
I have not said to the public my status. I've only said it to close friends and family.
Mm,
And maybe there's something to be said in that, but also I don't show myself like that. On my Twitter is some stuff for a mental health film I worked on years ago.
mhm.
It's still on a hard drive. And then my Instagram is full of years of my daughter,
Right.
like months of my daughter over lockdown. And they
Right.
all stop, I think, pretty much when I had surgery.
Right.
And then my Facebook is only so people come to my birthday parties. And my brother bought me a website for my voice career. He said, "You
Okay.
should have a website."
Yeah.
And I
Definitely.
went, "But I have an agent who gets me work. Why do I have
Right.
to do something with that?" So anyway, I don't have a lot of online presence, so I don't know who to get honest with. But I think it's something that once everything comes out with the play,
Well, this is what I want to talk
which
about.
we'll
because
discuss,
This is
then
why we're
I'm
here.
gonna
now.
feel more open and more, because it's like you saw you were in the audience
The
for
work in progress. Yeah.
for
Well,
the
talk about it now, because I'm bringing this up specifically because you're developing a play
Mhm.
based around this experience, right?
Mhm.
The accident.
I've written a
surgery.
full-length play about,
Oh my.
yeah. I mean, it really focuses, for me, it focuses on disability, motherhood, and how disability changes the sort of lens
Huh.
of and the scope of every landscape of your life.
Right.
But it's a dark comedy. It's not it's not like I'm trying to think of something really dramatic. Is fried green tomatoes dramatic?
Yeah.
Whatever is really
Well, it's a bit
like,
funny, like when you cry at
the end of the affair, whatever. It's not like that. It's sort of like through I'm a layman. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and now I've watched 150 hours of open neck surgery, like open spine surgery, like proper
Yeah.
spine surgery.
Oh my gosh.
We were
And I
going to watch some
never
last
ever
night,
thought
but
I'd be able to say that.
I
that
think I'd
I've
rather watch
watched
fried
that
green
much
tomatoes, to be honest.
surgery. The fried, yeah, they're cutting the tomatoes out in the films I've been watching. Wow.
Ain't no tomatoes in these films. Yeah, I know it's graphic and but there's a reason, and I saw your sort of
Power to you. Wow.
yeah. How's the what is it for catharsis? Is it for helping other disabled people and people that aren't disabled understand what disability is? I mean, what's the
I wrote it as part of sort of writing scheme. I get involved with lots of different writing schemes, some little, some bigger,
right?
some short plays, radio plays, and I've worked with the same person for a long time, and he's very supportive and has helped me throughout my entire writing career, almost my entire writing career. And this was written under that, but I didn't know I'd finish it. I never think I'd go there. I pitched other ideas. Everyone voted for the difficult topic. Of course, all the other writers voted for everyone's
Sure.
sort of what they thought you should write about. So
Yeah.
you pitched your ideas, and
Not ducks in Hampstead Heath, but
yeah, not ducks in Hampstead Heath. So the first iteration of this play felt and looked different because the family element was something I was guarding. I was very guarded. It was like the most guarded draft of anything. It's like literally reading someone's diary, but half of it's redacted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So then it exploded, full of feeling and family and love and all those things. The loss of ab- lost abilities, things that I took completely for granted.
Right.
In the simplest form, things like um, being able to put a pillow under your neck so that you can put a pillowcase on. I don't know how you guys do it,
Oh yeah. I
but
know what you
normally
mean.
you hold the
Sure.
pillow
You
under
can't.
your
You
yeah
can't do
yeah
that with your
yeah. I
neck,
can't.
right?
This doesn't
Huh.
touch
Right.
there anymore.
Right.
But
Hmm.
also it's people's perceptions. The reason why I've not talked about disability on any platform whatsoever is because even my own perception was completely ignorant and uninformed
Right.
about what it is you can and can't do. And I love it that when I walk into anywhere if I'm using the walking stick, I do feel like Moses. I don't mean that, and I don't want religious people to get mad at me. But all I can remember from
The
going to
staff. Yeah.
Bible school was the staff and the water going
And the
whoop.
serpent. Yeah.
And literally everywhere in London, you just put down a walking stick and
crowds
literally
will
like
part.
Londoners just scatter like
Yeah.
roaches in
Which is hard to
sunlight.
get them to do in general. Yeah.
It's so
Interesting.
so yeah, I want to take this not you can't take the stigma out of disability. I mean, what you
Well,
can
you
do
can
is
try. Yeah.
talk more about something that and also there's a spectrum of different disabilities and people will say, "Oh, you can talk about this one, but not that one." And there's so much, you know, that we hold back. Like you get into I've been in so many conversations now in like clubs or places where whatever, and you got like this sort of like look, like if you both got walking sticks and you're like shopping at the market, you give each other the look like, yo, what's up? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Nice stick.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice stick.
Yeah. I
Like
like
what
your
you're,
stick.
yeah, rolling with.
You're
You know what I
rocking
mean?
it.
There's like this unspoken language, like,
Yeah.
you know, you can, would you like me to help you? You know, especially if I
Right.
think someone's worse off than me.
Right.
I'm always like, you can borrow my trolley or, you know,
Yeah.
giving people rides places and stuff. Parking is great, but the rest of it's I mean
No, I
talk
was
to the
only
man
joking.
well no and it's a thing that people think it, you know.
No, of course. Yeah.
I would trade
Yeah.
all of it for the 2.5 years I lost with my daughter, you know, not being able to pick her up.
Right.
There's something important about picking up a child. It's like a symbolic thing
Mm-hmm.
that is emotional and lovely and beautiful and warm and fuzzy. And it's all the things that I'm not or wasn't when I was a kid
Right.
that I want to be now. So now I'm sort of, getting back more into my fuzzy side.
And you've injected all these kinds of emotions and thoughts and feelings into the play.
Yeah, with a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
Lord
that's
have
inclusive.
mercy, how the hell are you going to talk about it without a sense of humor?
Thank you.
Right? Like,
Thank you.
please, I don't want to. I actually, when I went to my first Edinburgh, I found it so painful because half of it you're just being polite, going to your
Right.
mate's
Right.
thing,
Right.
and then the other bit you're like, if I see one more guy masturbate, I swear to God,
Right. On stage.
I'm
you
going
mean.
back to London.
Yeah.
Why? You know, I can think of 5 other places I can see it for free.
Right.
You know, so for some reason that year the first year I went to Edinburgh Festival was the first year that's all guys did on stage.
Everyone's masturbating.
Yeah, even in
You don't mean-
musicals, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and I remember this guy
Showing
he was
off,
doing it, and he was crying, and it went
right.
on a really long time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, he was doing stage
Yeah.
self-satisfactory.
Yeah. It's
Satis-
all
satis-
satisfactory,
What's it
self-satisfying.
Yeah,
Self-satisfying?
self-satisfying. And he was crying, and it went on so long that me and my friend just laughed, and they're like, "This
gotta-
is just,
Stupid.
it's taking us nowhere."
You hand him a tissue and walk
Like,
out.
he needs 2 tissues, one for here and then one for what he was doing. Anyway, it was very painful. Why was I on that?
Because you're talking
Talk
about
about
like
the comedy.
your writing and how you're writing something,
Yes.
funny
So
and enjoyable to watch.
mine is not painful like that. No. I mean, you'd have to ask Todd actually, because he
No, I saw
saw
because
that you were watching the R&D. So
yeah, you had done a kind of research and development showing, reading, essentially to kind of show off,
yes,
and I was
yes.
fortunate enough to be invited just to kind of, but it was mostly theatrical producers and others that were invited to sort of give it a looky and see if there was some potential. Um, and yeah, I saw that there was great potential in the piece. There was a lot of humor and charm in it and emotion, and it was really well uh, like if you know theater and you were able to and good writing and things, you could see it and see how fully fleshed out it would really work powerfully. So I was impressed with that and impressed with you.
Thank you. I should send you a copy to read. It's
Yeah, definitely. Why haven't
yeah.
you done that? Yeah, you should.
Don't know why.
Yeah.
I should. Yeah.
And your brother came.
All the way from New York.
Your brother really supports you, doesn't he?
My brother is my best friend,
What's his name?
William.
William.
Yeah,
William Robinson.
Robinson.
Yeah.
His acting name is Atticus Kane.
Atticus Kane. He's an actor as well, is he? Oh,
That's badass.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
he's good.
That's
He's,
badass.
I mean, way better than I ever got. He's been
Right.
on Law and Order and Bull and
Okay.
all sorts of shows in
Oh,
the
maybe
States.
we need
yeah.
to talk to him, huh?
You probably should actually, because my brother's like this whole acting thing. I've heard loads of your interviews and how you're asking these really wise, awesome, amazing
Oh,
people
thank you.
with these splashed out CVs
Yeah.
about their wisdoms, and and I was thinking,
I don't have any of that.
I can tell you where to get very good linens.
Right? Where? I'm in the market. We've got some real crap in the house here.
If you need a high thread count, I
Where?
will point
Where do
you
you
there.
go? Where do you go for your
And
linen?
you'll even get
Tell us. Where do you
airline
go?
you'll get airline miles.
Where do
as
you
well.
go? Tell me.
I'm not going to advertise a company online and give them free stuff for nothing.
Jeez.
No, ain't nothing free. Nuh-uh. No.
Maybe we'll hit him up for sponsorship.
This particular company, I doubt. Because if
Okay.
you can't get anyone on the customer service line, this is also why I'm
all
never
right.
I'm
Well,
never
you tell me
saying a
off the air
name.
then. But back to
Yeah,
William just
exactly.
real quick. I know he's
My brother, yes. Did you get
Yeah.
a chance to speak with him?
we crossed paths as he came through, but I was impressed that he came all the way from New York just for the R&D, and to visit you obviously and stuff like that.
He's an incredible man, and his girlfriend is an incredible woman, and he's very supportive. And he was here after the surgery,
Right.
which we didn't know what the result would be. He came to, because my family is in France, my
Yeah.
partner's family,
Yeah.
and my brother in New York,
Yeah,
and my sister in Texas,
that's it. Yeah,
and the rest have passed.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's a huge deal for me that when anything has happened, my weddings.
You did it. You said it.
I called myself
You
out
said
and
it.
said
All your
plural.
weddings. Your brother's been at all your weddings. That's great.
I married one guy twice because we had the British wedding and the American wedding.
Right. And your brother came to both?
I did. Yeah. But it's so important to me when something amazing happens in my life or something
Right.
distressing that my bro's there.
Right.
I call him bro. That's my brother. He's my big brother. And I
It's nice to
am I'll always be the baby out of my big sister, my big brother, and me. I'll always be the baby, and I like it that way.
Right.
I like it. I do. I mean, I didn't get much to play with except the He-Mans and the occasional cast off, or like the sort of ghetto
Right.
version of My Little Pony. It was like, yo, my little horsey, who,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But I really love the fact that he came for that. Just the development part of it was
Yeah.
incredible, and he's helping me.
Has there been
He's
any movement on that?
absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Had a meeting just this morning.
Okay.
So I'm gonna speak about it when I'm, when
Yeah, to be continued, but I just
exactly. But
definitely
yeah,
that's great.
because I haven't even said the name of the project.
I've been curious, but I know that maybe you can't say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I think it's worth waiting for.
The undisclosed project coming soon. Have you got like an eye on a date? Kind of like, are you thinking next year? Hopefully.
I think people will be.
Oh, dear
How do you
God.
turn it off? Why
don't
is
know.
it so loud?
I don't know. Somebody that's a fancy doorbell.
That's just one of the
I think
chimes
that's all
that
the
used to
time
be
we
my
have.
grandmother's old chime from the proper
Oh.
doorbells. You
Oh
remember
yeah,
when
it's
doorbells
definitely
were proper?
Is that your phone
Before
that
they
does
could
that?
see you?
Right.
No. That's I assume
That's
you
your
know
actual
who.
doorbell?
That's my actual doorbell.
All right.
Yes. Sorry. So I
Well,
will
we're
say
about
the
to
name
wrap
of
it
the
up here.
project. Yeah, exactly. The name of the project is called Disable Me. And it
Nice.
is a darker comedy. And it's loads of fun. And I know that it doesn't, because it could be a work. Who knows? I could end up changing the title before it comes out.
Yeah, happens.
But for me, how do you make one of the worst moments in your entire life,
Right.
funny?
Right.
And the answer is do it with a sense of humor.
Tragedy and comedy.
Because I can look at the other side of how ridiculous some of the just trying to dress myself by myself, here's the best example. Trying to do stuff by myself when I needed help and didn't know how to ask for it.
Right.
Those were I look back at them now, they were funny. Back then, at the time they were happening, they were,
Tragic.
painful and embarrassing and shameful. But, now I'm just like, oh my gosh. If I had just said, I remember yelling at someone at the grocery store because, the floors, there were no signs and people could slip, and etc.
Right.
Dropping my groceries everywhere because I wouldn't ask for
Wow.
help, trying to hold them all in my arms like this, like I've got it.
I can do it. I can do it.
I can do it.
I don't need your help. Oh my God. I think this is going to resonate with people. This kind of
Hopefully,
Yeah.
yes. And
on both
also
sides.
not being afraid to ask for help now is probably the best thing that's come out of it.
Right.
And not taking the piss with it, just genuinely, can you please grab that because I can't? And
Right. Right.
but I'll buy you a coffee.
I'll trade you.
I'll trade you. You carry this enormous bag I've overpacked. I'll buy you
I'll
a
buy
coffee to give you energy to lift it.
Right.
And in 10 years, you'll be having
Fair
neck surgery.
trade.
Sorry. It's sick and twisted. Cut that bit out, please.
No, it all stays. JR, what a pleasure.
Man.
Truly.
You feel good? You were nervous.
Yeah, I
And
was
now look.
nervous. Listen, I'm always a bit. Listen, it's because I think mostly because we are quite private, Matthew and I.
Mm-hmm.
We are quite private.
Yeah, fair enough.
People, and for no other reason other than people are strange when you're a stranger.
Mhm.
Faces
Right.
look ugly when you're alone.
Right. Women seem wicked.
Women seem wicked when you're unwanted.
Streets are uneven
Uneven
when you're down.
when you're strange.
What have I
You
got
know,
myself into?
Yeah.
I should have warmed up before that. I've got a singing gig in a couple weeks. But yeah, I've always listened to that song and I felt an affinity to it. I think that's why it's hard to get me pinned down for things like this or get me to answer a straight question. To answer a question in a
Yeah.
straight line,
Right.
I like to zigzag.
How did I do? Did I penetrate?
You penetrate.
Did I penetrate you?
As best as you could, man.
Don't tell your
Because
French husband.
I am quite impenetrable.
Yeah, I know. All
I
right.
can't believe I left him that voice note. He should play it. Like, dude.
I'll add it to the. Shall I put it to the end of the? Can I put it at the
No,
end of the
no, no.
podcast? I will.
Just the penetration part.
Just the
Yeah,
pen.
just
All right, I'll
that
put
bit.
that in there. I'll put a little clip
You
in there.
guys are great. Listen, it was so nice to meet you, Jay.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Thank
I
you,
hope
JR.
that all of everything that ails you, that you feel better soon, and
I
that you
will,
take
I'm
good
sure.
care of yourself.
Thank you.
And Todd, as always, honey, I'll see you very soon, probably on a job. Yeah?
Let's cross our fingers.
I'll tell our agent, get Todd
Yeah,
in as well on this one.
Tell Neil, hey, what's up?
I will. Anyway,
Good times.
it was an absolute pleasure. You guys are much less frightening than I thought you'd be.
Than you
I just
thought.
didn't want to be too shiny or too emotional.
You look
or
gorgeous.
whatever.
It's great.
I feel protected. This was not as painful as I thought it would be. Genuinely.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
in safe
Thank you
hands.
for making it pleasant. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here's your little applause to say goodbye. You can hang out. We're going to do a little wrap up. And say goodbye to JR. Thanks, JR. Bye, darling. Mwah.
And thank you to Andy.
Oh, and Andy. No, you don't have to thank him. All right.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Oh, do you want me?
Yeah, we want you to just shut up now.
Oh,
You
God.
can hang out. Jay and I do our little. We do our little talk. How do you feel about that, Jay? She's great, isn't she?
Yeah. That was amazing. I don't know. That was really good. A lot of wisdom. I don't know. She said the only wisdom she had was linen count.
That's the only one she's willing to give up. But I just think the story is incredible, and I'm always interested in how people get from one place to another. But started out here I didn't know some of that stuff. Orthodontics, want to be an orthodontist.
Amazing story. There's just so much color, as she said, to her past.
Yeah.
And her present.
And she didn't really open up everything either, by the way. I know some stuff that we didn't talk about.
Great,
I'll tell you
fine.
later.
You don't need to. Anything someone wants to keep a secret, I want them to keep it a secret.
Yeah. But we, for in terms of understanding the trajectory of how to get into a world of performance and art and being creative and taking life and translating that to stage or to screen and telling those kind of stories and having other people identify with them and utilize them to help, that's the kind of stuff that I'm really interested in, fascinated by, being able to make that work.
Yeah, and such a traditional journey,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, but I say that, but then it seems that a lot of the people we get on our podcast also seem to have non-traditional journeys.
Well,
what is a traditional journey?
Well, I seek those people out, to be honest, because I like those stories.
Yeah.
The traditional journey is I went to acting school. This is rare, but can be, the ones that most people think. I went to acting school and I got out, and then I got on a hit TV show, and then boom, I did another thing, and that was it.
That's not even traditional. That's the.
I know it's 1%, but that's
stereotypical. Maybe that's the word.
Stereotypical. Most people think that's that's what most people think happens, and
you just got out of drama school, aren't you? Are you on a TV show?
Yeah, have you gotten your
right. You on? Just
gotten on your TV show yet?
Love that first question you just asked me. Let's just bring it. Let's just penetrate.
Jay, feeling better, buddy? Have a great 3 days of work. That's gonna be fun. Report back to us how it all went.
I will. Thanks, Hot Toddy.
Okay.
Thanks for finding the good people.
Yeah, you're welcome, and you're welcome, audiences. Go pop that blister in your nose. It looks.
It's not a blister, I promise you, and I will not touch it because it is. Don't. All
right,
let's
gross. Not go there, ladies and gentlemen. That is all for this episode of the Offstage Acting Podcast. Thank you so much. Thanks to JR for opening up, allowing herself to be penetrated. Thanks to Andy for waking up extra early there in Canada, having his 6 cups of coffee. And thank you, Jay. And thank you, audiences. We'll see you next time.
strange when you're strange.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum,
That's so
bum.
good. So taping is stopped, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh God.
You can say anything you want now.
It's
Taping
actually
and
funny. That's
vaping.
probably the cleanest interview I've ever done in
Yeah,
my
there
life.
was almost no swearing. I was just about to say.